What's going on, everyone? Happy Saturday. Hopefully everyone is doing well and having a great day so far. It is time now for the Saturday weather update for Saturday, November 16th, 2024. If you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel. This is where I do the daily weather update for the United States on all things weather, including winter weather, severe weather, tropical weather, drought updates, and everything else in between. Want to stay informed with what's going on with the weather in the United States, and well, sometimes we talk about the rest of the world as well if there's something extreme going on. Just subscribe down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. The more people that hit that like button, the more YouTube is going to push this content throughout the algorithm. Let's try for 25 like button hits today. Of course, share this video with anyone you know. The more people you share with, the more people we can inform. And of course, leave your comments down below. And don't forget to hit that notification bell, as you'll know when my daily videos come out. Alright, starting off today with our weather headline. I always like to start off with a weather story in these videos, and today it takes us to Texas. Texas drought conditions, worse than last year and worst in the U.S. Yes, the drought conditions in portions of southwest Texas are really bad, and I need to show you this. Take a look here. Look at southwest Texas. That is the worst that you see on the map for the entire United States. It's not good, and unfortunately, for that part of Texas, it is not going to get any better. Here's the GFS, the 6Z run, for the next, we'll say next 7 to 10 days, up to 216 hours out, and you can see there will be some precipitation there, but what you really need is over a few weeks time, you need double-digit rainfall. Not all at once, but you are down by double digits at this point. And, well, we're not going to be even seeing more than maybe just an inch in some parts of southwest Texas, which is not enough rainfall to help curb that drought situation. For the rest of Texas, though, you can see there will be some heavier rainfall across central Texas and up into Oklahoma. More on that in a little bit. Taking a look at the national satellite picture. Remember that storm system from the Carolinas? Well, that is long gone. That is out in the Atlantic. It still has that comma shape to it. And we do have some cloud cover over the Great Lakes today. We also do have some spinning, which is from a storm system east of Maine today. That is going to generate a pressure gradient in the northeast and make for some windy conditions today. Gulf Coast, all is quiet for today. Texas, you're quiet for today, but tomorrow we are watching some severe weather for you. Taking a look at the national radar picture, all is quiet in the eastern half of the United States this morning. Montana and Wyoming, there are some precipitation, and some of that is in the form of snow in the higher elevations. Taking a look at the west coast, Oregon and Washington, yes, more precipitation is headed your way, and it is going to be a very active period for you. In fact, we are actually going to zoom in on the GFS and take a look at the precipitation amounts for the next 7 to 10 days and beyond, because you are expecting a ton of precipitation. Taking a look at the national hazards map, there is the wildfire threat today. Red flag warnings for New Jersey, Pennsylvania, parts of southern New York, including Long Island, all of Connecticut, almost all of Massachusetts, southern New Hampshire, and even portions of Vermont today, because things have just been so dry. So that is definitely of concern. Winter weather advisories up for portions of Montana and Wyoming, and on the west coast in the mountains of Oregon and portions of Washington. Winter storm warnings are up, and also winter storm watches up for even portions of Northern California, where a ton of rainfall is expected over the next several days, at least in the lower elevations. And in the higher elevations, a ton of snow is expected for you, which is why there are winter storm warnings for the higher elevations. Alright, taking a look now at the latest from the National Hurricane Center, we can see Tropical Storm Sarah does still exist with 45-mile-per-hour winds, and the pressure with this is down to 999 millibars. It's only moving west-northwest at 2 miles per hour at this time. The future for Tropical Storm Sarah shows that it will remain near the Honduras and Central America, and we can see here that as it goes over land, it is expected to weaken to a depression, and it may not even make it into the Gulf of Mexico at this point. Here's what it looks like now. Yeah, not all that organized at all. There are still thunderstorms and heavy rains along the coastal areas. Taking a look at the Storm Prediction Center, and we do have several things to talk about here. Let's start off with the wildfire risk today. There is an elevated risk from portions of extreme northern Delaware. It would include Wilmington, Delaware, South Jersey, southeast Pennsylvania, all of eastern Pennsylvania, really, Philadelphia, Scranton, portions of New York. Yes, New York City is included, and Hartford, Connecticut, all of Connecticut, up into Boston, Albany, New York, and even southern New Hampshire, southern Maine. Yes, York, Maine is likely included in this, as is southern Vermont. Please, no outside fires today, and this continues again tomorrow, though a smaller area, North Jersey, New York, portions of Connecticut, and even portions of Massachusetts are included in this again tomorrow, and Rhode Island as well. And I should mention, Rhode Island is included in that risk of wildfires for today. Those windy conditions, the dry conditions, are ripe for starting wildfires. Then we come to tomorrow, Sunday. There is a slight risk of severe weather across portions of Texas. Isolated tornado. Wind threat is at 15%, and hail is at 5%. We'll have to see. Could this get upgraded to an enhanced risk? Well, if the 12Z HER model is right, which I'm going to show you momentarily, it's possible an enhanced risk could be added maybe for wind. Taking a look now at the latest precipitation forecast for the next 1 through 7 days, and look at the Pacific Northwest. Very wet for you. You're going to see system after system with hardly any breaks in between. Gulf Coast will see some heavier rainfall from what's left of Sarah and a combination of a front linking up with that. So along the immediate Gulf Coast, there could be some heavier rainfall amounts, and northern Texas into Oklahoma, into Kansas, and straight on up into the Midwest. Higher precipitation amounts expected for you, and over the Great Lakes. Why over the Great Lakes? Well, there's going to be a storm system that develops, and it's not going to move all that fast, and there'll be a lot of precipitation with that storm system, and some of that precipitation will make its way into the Northeast. So this is good news for the drought conditions. All right, now taking a look at the HER model, and we're going to leave it on the national view for this because there's several things I need to point out. As we can see, northern Dakotas, North Dakota, there will be some snow showers for you today. May even be a little bit windy with that. And as we head into this evening, there comes the rainfall out on the west coast, the Pacific Northwest in Oregon, and portions of Washington, mountain snows as well. Then as I advance this into tomorrow, we can see first thing in the morning, western Louisiana, eastern Texas, some moisture flow out of the Gulf is possible, which means showers and thunderstorms. And as we head into the afternoon, look at the showers and thunderstorms that really light up in portions of Texas and Oklahoma. With that, there could be some training segments, which means flash flooding is not out of the question. But we can see a well-defined squall line does get going. And I am going to zoom into the central region and take a look at this. We can see here some bowing segments. Again, it would not surprise me if the wind potential from the Storm Prediction Center does get increased to maybe 30%, which would warrant an enhanced risk area. Look at this. Straight on through the end of the HER run, even as we head into first thing Monday morning. Pretty vigorous squall line does get going. Let's also take a look at the NAM. And this is the new NAM that just came in. And we can see that squall line will keep going through Monday. Then it will eventually weaken as it gets to eastern Texas, eastern Oklahoma, and by the time it gets to Arkansas, it'll probably pretty much fizzle at that point. Let's go back to the nationwide view. Here's that storm system that develops in the upper Midwest and eventually heads towards the Great Lakes. That will eventually transfer to a new low at some point. Still questionable as to where that new low will form. And take a look at the end of the NAM. By the time we're headed into Tuesday evening, yeah, that's a new storm system in the Pacific Northwest. That is a strong storm system. But also take a look along the Gulf Coast. Heavy rainfall for you from some energy that is left behind from Sarah. And Sarah at that point will not be much. NAM here is showing area of low pressure. Probably likely overdone. It's the NAM. You don't usually use the NAM for anything tropical related, but it is good to show the NAM for the convective potential along the Gulf Coast. All right, now let's take a look at the GFS, and I want to show you the Pacific Northwest view. Here's what comes on shore in the Northwest this evening into tomorrow. We can see windy conditions, rainy, showery, snows in the mountains, but watch what happens. Really heavy mountain snows. I mean, 1 to 2 inch per hour rates, maybe even locally higher. Snowfall is really going to add up with these storm systems, and along the coastal areas or along Seattle and Portland, Oregon, the rainfall amounts are really going to add up with these storm systems as well. Take a look at this as we head into Tuesday. Yes, you are seeing a 957 millibar storm system out in the Pacific. This is a really, really strong storm system. With that, you are going to see very windy conditions. I mean, gusts could be up to 50 miles per hour in some places with this storm system. Imagine if that actually came closer, which it's not going to. Yeah, the winds would be even stronger. But yes, this is just a really strong storm for the Pacific Northwest. And you can see here, it is loaded with moisture. There's going to be a very strong moisture fetch, and I would not be surprised if there was flooding from this system. And of course, in the mountains, you are talking feet of snow, and look at this. It just continues and continues. Eventually, that system goes to the north, but look what happens. The moisture feet does not let up, and more areas of low pressure continuously form throughout the week. So you are going to have pretty much rain, mountain snows all week long, some of it being very heavy. How much precipitation are we talking? Check this out on GFS. You're seeing these oranges and yellows. Yes, potentially double-digit precipitation amounts by the time we get into next weekend. So again, flooding could definitely be a concern. And, well, if I just kept the GFS going, look what happens here. Through the entire run, it just continues to be extremely wet in this region. From north of the Bay Area in California, straight on up into Oregon, Washington, and up into portions of Canada as well. So this is extremely concerning, and if you live in this area, get ready for it, because it is going to be extreme system. And well, if you live in the mountains, take a look at the total snowfall. And mind you, this is a 10-to-1 ratio. I'm not saying it's going to be 10-to-1 ratios, but in the mountains here, and you can see here, this grayish white color, yeah, those are snowfall amounts. That's above 48 inches of snow. Multiple feet of snow are likely in the mountains over the next couple weeks. Good news if you're going to go skiing in any ski areas, but this is going to be just quite the event that unfolds over the next several weeks in this region. All right, moving back now to the national view, and we'll take a look at the national view for the next week. We can see on the GFS there's that area of low pressure that sets up in the plains. That will eventually fizzle, and a new area of low pressure will develop Wednesday somewhere in the Ohio Valley. It's not looking likely that this is going to go into a coastal system like the Canadian was showing earlier. It's looking likely that this will set up over the Ohio Valley and maybe somewhere around Michigan. There's going to be a lot of precipitation with this. The backside of this storm system will be cold enough for snow across portions of Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, so places like Indianapolis and Chicago. Yes, you could see your first snowflakes of the season. Maybe Indianapolis sees a few inches of snow from this. And this storm system is going to be slow moving. It's going to be stuck there day after day. It's not going to exit the picture until some point next weekend. What does this mean for the Northeast? Windy conditions, showers, maybe even snow showers, and below average temperatures at least for a few days. Once this system exits, though, by the time we get into the following week, closer to Thanksgiving, you can see there is a ridge here, but there is also a storm system, possibly, maybe that sets up within that. So we'll have to keep our eyes on that, because, that will be Thanksgiving. And take a look at this, 264 hours out. Yes, you're still seeing very stormy conditions out on the west coast. Maybe at some point that will shift south. The European yesterday was trying to suggest that. Remains to be seen if that will happen. One thing that is a guarantee: high precipitation amounts, maybe some coastal flooding out on the Pacific Northwest, and yes, the flooding potential and those mountain snows are going to be a thing. Let's take a look at the temperature anomaly we'll take a look at the next 2 weeks. Let's reverse this, and we can see above average temperatures are going to be a thing in the central region. But watch what happens as we get later into next week. Here's where that cutoff low, or that upper level low, gets going, that storm system, and we can see places where that does impact below average temperatures. And yes, that does include the southeast U.S. So by the time we get into late next week, below average temperatures will be possible down across portions of Florida and really all of the southeast, but that is not going to last. Eventually, that will reverse, and things will become above average once again as we get into Thanksgiving week. You can see warm air will come back again in the northwest, where that stormy conditions will be for several days into the following week. you're going to actually be below average temperatures, and maybe a little area of below average temperatures in between in the mid-Atlantic region. We'll have to see how that plays out. The Climate Prediction Center is saying otherwise, but we're not going to show that today. It's the same thing that we saw yesterday afternoon as we're doing this video a little bit earlier today. Alrighty, folks, that does it for today's weather update. So the key takeaway: very stormy conditions in the Pacific Northwest. I'm really concerned that flooding, I didn't say the word mudslides, I should say that too, because it is possible. High winds, coastal flooding, mountain snows, those passes going through the mountains, it's going to be hard to get through those regions because there's going to be so much snow that piles up at a certain point, probably with the midweek system. Yeah, plows are not going to be able to keep up in the mountainous regions. It's going to become impassable tomorrow. Keep your eyes, if you're in Texas, for that severe weather. I will have another update again tomorrow. I'll let you know if that does get upgraded to an enhanced risk for the wind potential. We'll be keeping our eyes on that, and we'll be keeping our eyes on everything else. You can follow me over on X at Climate Data RPT, and over on Blue Sky it is Climate Data Report. Hey, look at that. My following is going up there. Why? Because, well, Blue Sky is becoming the big thing. Alright, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit subscribe down below if you're new to my channel. Share this video with anyone you know. Let people know about what's coming in the Northwest. It is really going to be pretty crazy next 1 to 2 weeks there, where you just have those constant storms that hit again and again and again. And, you know, the ground can only take so much rainfall. Double-digit rainfall in this amount of time, even with it being a week, yeah, it's just not going to be a good thing. And, of course, hit that notification bell and leave your comments down below. I'll see you all again next time. Until I see you again next time, have a fantastic Saturday, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.